Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the unseen, completely unspoken dynamics of, well, literally every single room you've ever walked into. Have you ever noticed how certain people just seem to completely command attention without saying a single word? It's like magic, right? Well, today, we're going to explore the eloquence of silent power, looking at some really profound insights that'll completely change how you view communication. So think about this. Who holds the real power in the room? Think back to your last big meeting, maybe a crowded networking event, or, even a noisy family gathering. Our culture practically demands that we speak up to be seen. We just naturally assume that the person dominating the conversation, the one taking up all the auditory space, is the one who's truly in charge. But what if that assumption is entirely backward? What if the loudest voice is actually the least influential? Okay, let's dive right into this with Section 1, the illusion of loudness, reevaluating the noisy room. There's this stark contrast we see all too often. The source material actually puts it incredibly bluntly. Weak people talk constantly. They fill absolutely every pause, they scramble to state their opinions, they over-explain, they interrupt, and honestly, it's just exhausting to be around. But, on the other hand, strong people observe. They sit back, they watch, they just take in the data of the room instead of flooding it with their own noise. It brilliantly illustrates the divide between true confidence and, underlying insecurity. Because the absolutely crucial takeaway here is this: the loudest person is rarely the most powerful. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how it completely flips our understanding of quietness. Section 2, redefining silence, from emptiness to absolute control. We usually think of silence as an absence, right? Like a void just waiting to be filled, or maybe even a sign of vulnerability, hesitation, or like you just don't know what's going on. But the text redefines it completely for us. Silence is not an emptiness, it's a state of control. It takes an immense amount of self-restraint to simply listen when everyone else around you is practically shouting to be noticed. By choosing to remain silent, you aren't being passive. Actually, scratch that. You are actively deciding how and when to deploy your energy. You aren't just reacting to the room, you're in total command of yourself. Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. Let results speak, the quiet action. So now that we understand the philosophy of silent power, how do we actually apply it? How do we shift the burden of noise from our mouths to our outcomes? It all starts with this direct, punchy command: speak less. It's a simple instruction, sure, but incredibly difficult to execute in our modern, noisy world. I really want you to try it today. Hold back those unnecessary words. When you feel that sudden, burning urge to chime in just to prove you know something, take a deep breath and just let the moment pass. Conserve your energy. So I want to leave you with this final, really provocative thought. What will your silence achieve today? Think about the physical and digital spaces you're going to walk into next. Instead of rushing to be the loudest voice in the room, how can you use observation as your secret superpower? How can you cultivate that quiet, deliberate control and let your results do the heavy lifting? I really hope you take this framework with you and test it out for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Until next time, embrace the quiet and let your actions roar.